I don't know why, like, just sometimes I can't access my internet when I'm, when I'm roaming, even though I'm, my bill's up where I got it fixed on last Saturday, and even then it keeps flaking out. Today I also wasn't going to do a live because there's a little bit of breeze in the air and I don't know how much of it's coming through the camera. If it gets too bad, I'll just put the phone in my hat and then put my fluffy thing on. So this is a different walk to what you've all seen before, so I'll show you. So that's the Great Eastern Highway. That's the Great Eastern Highway Bridge, and that's heading to American. I can't remember its name. And then down that way is obviously York and various things. Not York, sorry. That's down towards Perth. I was going to say Bakers Hill, blah blah. But this particular bit of the land, the reason why I come here you guys are gonna. The reason why I actually come here in winter is because, as you can see, it's not underwater. So it's still pretty wet. The river's down there, but the walks we do. So I just have to turn it around because of the wind. The other walks we do at the moment, they're all undercover. They're all underwater. I'll just turn this around and I'll put you in my hat because it's the only way you're not going to hear horrible sounds. So anyways, I thought I'd do this live for a few different reasons. One, there's a little bit to catch up on. I'll start with my birthday, I think. So on the 19th of June, as you know, a lot of you know, on the 16th of June, I decided last minute, no, I will do a birthday gathering, even though I emotionally didn't feel like it and I didn't feel like my house was ready or anything like that. I thought, no, I will actually do a gathering. And in so many, I did a thing about self-sacrifice. It would have been self-sacrificing if I didn't put on a party, because I was honouring myself enough. I always do a gathering. I always do something to acknowledge it's my birthday. So if for 1 year I didn't do it, that would be me not honouring myself or me loving myself. Guaranteed I would have regretted it. So I forced myself to do a gathering, and I don't know if I shared this with you or not, if it was a video or what, because I've had my internet issues. But on the 19th of June, so on Saturday when I went down to Perth on Saturday for my beautiful friend Tracy's 46, and it was a really awesome party. I went out of my way to get there because I always make sure I get to her parties. And again, I didn't want to socialise. I didn't want to be around people. I had a headache. I was really tired, but I prioritised getting down to my friend's house. And I also got a Verge collection load off my son's property, because he's left his rental property in Vic Park, and in the process of them all leaving, there's all these people that decide to drop off their crap. Random people just dropped off their stuff like mattresses, couches, on the Verge, and the real estate was going to charge them. So I went down and picked that up on Saturday. I had a ute full of rubbish, including a couch on the top of the roof. Then I went to my friend Tracy's birthday, had a really lovely evening, stayed the night, and then the following morning got my internet issues dealt with. So I missed church last Sunday. Got my phone dealt with, and because I knew that I had money coming in on Monday, Centrelink money, I spent my gardening and cleaning money on some stuff for me. I bought a Boggle game and an Uno game and some ointments, some really healing ointments from the herbal shop down in Midland. And I felt really proud of myself for doing that. And then on Monday, when I went to get the shopping for my party, there was no money in my account because the Centrelink hadn't gone through. And it was really beautiful because I shared with a Christian friend last night how, for about 5 seconds, Zena, Alvin, come for about, come on, for about, uh, come on, come on, come on, Zena. Anyways, what actually happened was, come on, that's it. Yeah, because, oh yeah, for about 5 seconds, I felt my brain, my body go, because I had all these people coming and no way to provide food and this and that, rah, rah. And I went, God, this is happening for a reason. I know it's happening for a reason. Within 5 seconds, it's that full surrender. So if something happens that we just really don't understand and really don't like, it's like, right, God, I had no idea what's going on. Help, I surrender. I get it. This is happening for a reason. Or if it is the devil, I'm under your protection. Help me. And so I did that within 5 seconds. So rather than shatter, I seriously, it was an amazing experience how quickly I just went, boof, boof, boof. Okay, God, it's in your hands. I got it. I know I'm safe. And I said, what is it? What is it that I need to learn? Oh, Zena, look what she's done. I can't believe it. The only muddy puddle in this whole walk, we're walking under the Great Eastern Highway at the moment, the only bloody muddy puddle in the, oh my good Lord, can you see what she's doing? She's rolling in the mud. You have to be kidding me. So normally we walk along the river, right? And she always jumps in for a swim. And here, that is so funny. So here, look at that puddle, right? That is disgusting. Now she's full of mud. Basically, look at her. Look at that mud on her. That's disgusting. So what actually happens is the river, where we're walking now, is away from the water. So the one bit of water she finds, she rolls in. That just proves to me, that is really full on. That's interesting, isn't it? Like that she feels the need. She's going back there again as well. This is weird. No, not quite. She's loves water. She really loves water. Yeah, so basically after about 3 or 5 seconds of almost having a meltdown, I very quickly surrendered to God. I'm very proud of how quickly I surrendered to God, because I just basically, well, the party can't happen if I can't put food on. Anyways, I was like, God, I don't know what the issue is. I surrender to you. What is it that I need to learn? And then what is it that I need? What is it that is teaching me, showing me what I need to hear? And I heard simplify, really clearly, simplify. And I went, okay, got it. And then I just rang up all these people and said, hey, listen, thanks for saying yes, you want to come to my gathering. In all honesty, I'm not ready. I'm not organised enough. And half the people said, that's okay, because we were doing everything we could to squish you in, because it was Monday afternoon, Monday 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. We were doing everything we could to squish you in anyways, and it's actually, we had a lot going on, but we're definitely going to make it to your party, right? And they said, well, we'll come again another time. You invite us another time, right, when you're ready. So I was like, oh, yeah, whoa. The pressure got taken off, like you wouldn't, like the pressure just got taken off. Because some of the people that were trying to squish me in, I was like, well, why are we trying to squish me in? Because no, you're important to us, right? But some of these people, they're just new friendships. And they hadn't been to the home yet, to my home. And you know, the house is, it's a livable space, and it's a good space, and it's got good energy. However, it's really obviously a house that's in the thrust of being settled, organised. You know, it's not moved into yet. Things aren't unpacked yet. The house needs to have a bit more renovation. Like the house needs stuff done to it before it can be made into a proper home. Basically, let's just leave it at that. And it involves putting gyprock on the wall and involves reno work. Can you see the gate going down to the river? The dogs are in. Isn't that cute? It's very cute. That gate just goes down to the river. I don't know why they block it. Why? Oh yeah, because there's a fence all along here. Because this is watercourt land I'm on, and that's river land. That's just public land. But yeah, it was really interesting. So the people that hadn't been to my home before, who I felt like I had to make the house look a certain way for, they're the ones that were doing everything they could to fit me in, and were relieved actually that I was asking them not to come. I was relieved that they weren't coming because it took the pressure off. And then I didn't have to have the house a certain way. Yeehaw! And then there was a heap of other people who said, no, we'll still come, and what is it that you need me to bring? So what actually ended up happening was everyone who came brought food, drinks, serviettes. So everything that I was going to have to buy, they brought anyways. And on top of that, the gathering got reduced to 6 people, which just suited me just fine because it was bonfire and nice food, and I wasn't in the mood for a big gathering. And the following day I had to get really organised. I had to get onto a lot of paperwork. I had a lot of admin that I needed to do. What ended up happening though instead was one of the people who came to my birthday gathering drove up from Perth and had booked accommodation already in Northam, so I couldn't tell her not to come. So I thought, oh, well, we're definitely going to be spending Tuesday morning together. So that sort of coloured my, in a good way, my Tuesday morning, Tuesday the 20th of June. So in the morning, she and I meet up, we have breakfast and coffee, rah-rah. Another friend of mine who was unable to make Monday night, who lives in Northam, said, could I take you out for lunch on tomorrow? And I was going to say no, because I had all this admin paperwork that I needed to do, like urgently needed to get it done by Wednesday morning. And so I went, no, I'm going to do this. This is my birthday lunch, birthday gathering. You know, I just felt this real, don't self-sacrifice, Nadina, don't self-betray. So I said yes to the luncheon, and I had this really good luncheon with this friend of mine, and we talked about the following day, which was Wednesday, where I had this really arduous experience that I was going to have to go through, and I was actually relatively unprepared. So this friend and I ended up spending hours together, and I didn't get home until 2:30 p.m. and then take the dogs for their walk, and then I spent from 3:30 to about 1 a.m. collating this information. So I just went through all of this information I had and collated it and filed it and customised it and made notes, and then I went to bed thinking, okay, I've got to get up really early to now do the dot points, the note taking from the collation of information. And yep, woke up the following morning, did my note collecting, did enough. I thought, okay, I'm prepared because I had a court trial to go to. I was doing a trial, and the process of the trial was to show, unfortunately, that there's a material of facts, a statement that was made by someone who was pressing charges about this particular thing. This particular, there was this incident, there was lots of incidences occurred around this certain time frame, early December, and there was one part of that incident that was recorded on this statement, and a lot of other things around that day were purported, and other things that were added to it. A lot of that were lies, actually outright like lies. And for the person to have to state that in court, because they had to prove that their statement as being true in a trial. But to prove their statement as being true would have been perjury. If you admit to a lie, so by agreeing, by standing up and saying that statement was true and accurate, and I had a huge amount of information to prove that it was false, then that person actually has committed a criminal offence, perjury. So this has been weighing on my mind greatly, and the reason why I'd left the paperwork so long to get ready for this trial was because I actually believed that the person was going to have dropped the charges a long time ago, because they already know that there were so many other issues around that. And that one little small incident was one part of a really big picture. Like the one thing that was written down on paper that I'd already admitted to. I'd already said to the police, yes, I did do that one thing. And I also declared everything else that had been happening around the time, and everything else that was happening to me and me to the other, and da-da-la-la. So the police had a 1 hour interview from me, and yeah, it was interesting. I went to trial yesterday, and I was always going to trial because I couldn't agree or say yes to the material facts that was presented, because there was only one bit of it that was true. One bit of it that was true, and a few bits that were true but out of context. And there was a huge amount of it that was absolute outright lies, falsehoods. So I had this really amazing experience yesterday where, because I was self-representing, and I had this really amazing experience of, I had a big group of people praying for me, had a huge prayer group going on. I also had some physical support from a really dear friend of mine, and I also had the most amazing support you could ever imagine from my local town, the Northern Police, and the magistrate herself, and the clerks of the courthouse. So I was surrounded by love, protection, respect, courtesy, patience, and everyone was clarifying everything. So it was really interesting because a lot of people jumped out of their normal job scope and jumped into another one. Like, so the magistrate did some lawyer work, like actually explained to me what this word means, what that word means, how this is and how this isn't, rah rah. The prosecutor, who was actually the police, in effect became my lawyer as well and gave me lots of advice, and everyone was being kind and considerate, and they got me to understand that you can plead guilty to one part of a statement and dispute the rest of the material of facts. And you can, what the magistrate said to me was, the only evidence that's ever taken is what's put on the dock. So whatever's said at the bar, which is the table that we're at, that's just basically a discussion. It's only on the dock that when you're in the dock and you swear on oath to the God, you're telling the truth. It's only that gets tabled as evidence. And that was the part that I knew that the person who had put in this highly false statement, if he had actually, it was a Zoom call, if he had got on trial and done an oath to that, he then immediately was committing perjury. And then I immediately had the evidence to prove that. And then it goes to Supreme Court. It's like, God, I don't want to go down that track. I really don't want to go down that track. Really, like this has become such a quagmire of darkness, and all because of lies, all because this is one person that keeps lying and lying and lying to all these narcissistic abusers that he just succumbs and gives all his power to, lying to them so he can fit in to their narrative and fit into their coven, the macabre crew coven, like lying so he can get some sort of form of belonging within this clan, that he can't stand, he hates. He just despises them. He has no respect for them. He's never said anything nice about any of these people, but he's so, feels so loyal to them, so beholden, but it's misplaced loyalty. It's a fear-based loyalty. Fear-based loyalty, let's leave it at that. Really horrifyingly very trauma bonded, very victim-based loyalty. So anyways, that was a nightmare, and I made the right decision. I'm really happy. See, I always knew that by going to trial, or even if I had initially not gone to trial and just pled guilty to the initial material facts, I always knew that it was going to just illuminate truth. Always knew that this whole process was. So where am I going with this? Yesterday was a very trying, exhausting day, and that's why I say alchemising betrayal into wisdom. Now this area here is beautiful. I love this area. This is where I call my fairy glen. Do you remember Last year I used to walk my dog Alvin here a lot. But the problem is, I'll show you my shoes, what I've got on. So, yeah, so they're not waterproof, they're more walking shoes because I planned on walking. So there's too wet down there, I'm not going to walk down there. That's a gumboot land down there. Yeah, I just thought I got these walking shoes the other day. They're really comfortable. I knew I was walking on the dry land today. These are good for my heels. So yesterday I was alchemising betrayal into wisdom, but I was also this whole week and also this whole year alchemising betrayal into wisdom. So what I mean by that, so yesterday I was shrouded by the protection of God, like in every way you can imagine. Like it was so evident that God was there. Just too many things happened that proved that God was there, and the outcome is really brilliant, everyone. So because everyone can see the bigger picture, everyone who's involved, who's been involved in decision making, sees that there's this a big scenario going down, and as a result, they've really, got my back and really making sure I'm protected and I'm okay. So I had a brilliant outcome from the trial yesterday, which I turned into, after getting really clearly explained that I can plead guilty to one element of a material facts and get rid of everything else, because that's basically what I said to the prosecutor and the magistrate. So many of this claim is lies, so I'm not pleading guilty to stuff that's lies. And I also said, and the bit that I am admitting to, which I've already admitted to the police, that bit, no way should that just be taken in, it's just out of context, but with everything else that was happening. And some of the other things were happening where I was being seriously abused, but because I'd never gone to the police to make a report, there's no claims. There's been 3 times where I've been really seriously abused, and if I'd gone to the police and got photo evidence and put a statement in, boom, hardcore, And one of the police said to me yesterday, so why did you not press charges when you were being abused? I said, why would I be so pathetic as to go to the police? I said, I'm committed to my marriage. You got problems like that? You go to counsellors. You got problems like that? You focus on healing. You focus on solutions. So never in 100 years do I even for 1 second think to go and report my injuries to the police. One of the injuries lasted for nearly a couple of months. I was that badly injured from one of the attacks on me, one of the physical attacks on me. I was that badly injured that I had the biggest, most insane bruise on my leg. It was so big it took up nearly half of the side of my left leg. And it was so badly bruised that by the end of it, the colouring was just ugly, really ugly purples and yellows and greens and stuff. It was so badly bruised. That's just one incident. I did show the police the end of that incident in June. I showed them the end result of that one. So I didn't make a report, but I showed them that bruise, and that was after a couple of months. So, it's really interesting when people act from a place of fear or act from a place of smallness, or just act from a place of not being committed or not being loyal, like what they'll do, and the outcomes, the consequences that can have on other people. So yesterday was a real win for me because I've been really acknowledged. I've been really supported. Look at the river. I've got the legal system supporting me, the local police in my town supporting me. Now all of that's done and dusted, and now it's a new chapter. So today's the beginning of the new day of the rest of my life. I don't have to worry about those that pending charge anymore, because as I said, I pleaded guilty to that one thing, and obviously they just go, okay, plead guilty, and you know, obviously no consequence. I asked for a consequence. I actually said I would like court mandated counselling, because my last lot of counselling with the church was paying for half and I was paying for half of it. That ended the other day, and now I've got this court mandated counselling, which means I got a case manager and counselling, government paid, you know what I mean? So, which is, and the court, the prosecutor, you know, says, you know, told the magistrate, I've listened to her CD, and there's a lot going on here, blah blah. The magistrate didn't get to see that because we didn't go to trial, but the police person had, and he was like, this woman really needs support. She really needs some care, extra care. And so, and I said, when he said that, I said, yes, I request court mandated counselling, please. So yeah, I've got that, which is wonderful. So the government and the legal system now have to work to my benefit. They legally have to provide me counselling now. It's actually on a court notice. So that was my outcome. I've actually created, and God was part of helping me create, getting, you know, more mental health support. And it's really awesome, because I found out that the people who I'm seeing, they're gonna make sure I get allocated to someone who's really suitable to my needs. And they said, and the first thing you start talking about, because it's related to the court case, you talk about the incident around rah. And so now I finally get to really unpack and discuss to the nth degree everything that was happening around that time to someone that has to record it. And you know, I get to, that's where the justice is occurring. That's where I alchemized my betrayal into wisdom. Like, so how can I get support and benefit from this? Because I've had to be subjected to someone lying, major trauma from someone not being loyal, someone lying, someone using deceiving tactics. Like, and when I mean lying, I mean really lying. Like, if I tell you the level of lying this person's been doing, which, you know, one day I may already have in the past and I've forgotten, I don't know, because I do remember when I first started this YouTube channel, I was raw as. And one of the reasons why I was so raw is because God basically said, tell the world. And I went like, tell the world what? I was like, tell the world. And I went, what? Tell the world how I'm feeling. Hey, look at this. This is so muddy, right? So, oh, is it gone? So I don't know now whether I'll try with my beautiful little walking shoes. Can you see? Whoa, nearly lost the phone. Actually, you know what? It's not windy at the moment. I'll actually get it out of my hat. Yeah, let's see if I can get through here. Actually, now I've got you out of the hat, I can show you the view. Isn't it beautiful? Used to do this walk all the time, so I've got to try to manage to get through here without getting my shoes muddy. Yeehaw! Woo, we did it. Yeah, this is the walk that I did all the time with Alvin. This is Zena's first time here. Isn't it, Zena? Woohoo! So you'll all recognise this from last year when I was doing my videos and putting them up on Facebook. And then when I got my internet on my Facebook last year, my Facebook lives. Isn't this beautiful? It's almost like coming here, because this was last year. Alvin and I don't know if you remember the winter day when it was foggy, completely foggy. And it was a really cold, bitter day. It was foggy until 1 p.m, really deep fog. That's really, really strong current. Be careful. Zena hasn't been to this part of the river before. Alvin knows it well. So, and there's the wind. I'll have to get you back into my hat soon. Gonna put you in my hat. So yeah, this is beautiful coming down this part. Okay, so I'll put you back into my hat, and one of these days I'm going to get one of those wind muff things. When I get more professional with these YouTubes, I'll get one of those things, sound blockers that you put around the... I think you just need a piece of foam or something, isn't it? I could probably just use a noodle or something. So yeah, that's a bit of my update, everyone. Alchemising betrayal into wisdom. Like, it's a hard process. Like, I went to a ladies celebrate night at Bridgeley Church last night, and I really didn't want to go. I was like, I didn't want to go, and I was like, Nadina, you need to get there. You need to have fun. You need to be around good people, and you need to live life. You got to keep living life. You got to keep enjoying life. And yep, I got dressed up and I got down there, and there's one part of the night where they were doing a dance to a particular 80s song where everyone did the same movements. So I just went up there and I just danced freestyle. And then afterwards, all these people came up and goes, Nadina, you're such a good dancer. And I said to one lady, I need to dance. I am a dancer. I miss it. I said, I used to dance all the time. I love dancing. I love swimming. I miss the ocean. I miss dancing. She goes, I love dancing too. I said, well, let's make it happen. Let's get some more dancing happening in Northern. Like, I just urgently need it. Like, I said to her, I'm trying. Like, I love Northern. There's so much about Northern that's wonderful. I sacrificed a lot to move here. I sacrificed a lifestyle that I really loved in order to have this really committed, beautiful, peaceful, quiet life with my beloved. And it was going to be a very quiet life, with my beloved. But I thought, yeah, okay, I'll sacrifice, having regular contact with good friends, having regular good times of dancing, having easy access to yoga, having easy access to, the beach, blah, 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 blah. I'll let all of that go. I will relinquish all of that, of course, in a second, to be by your side, my love, in a second. And we'll have this really quiet life. And I knew my life was going to get really, really quiet with him. But I thought that he was going to be by my side, you see. I thought we're going to have this quiet life side by side. So we had this peaceful life, walking the river, plodding around in the garden. He was so excited about making chutneys and relishes and having chooks and this and that and rah-rah. And I was like, yeah, oh man, I visualised this life. I could see it. Get up in the morning, we go collect the eggies, come in, we make this really yummy breakfast with eggs and toast and maybe avocado and tomato and a coffee. We sit on the deck, always wake up, kissing each other, hugging each other, and then you were in the deck, and then, I was always going to be doing other things within the community. I was always going to get involved in the community and be, I love being part of the community. I want to get part of the theatre group, part of the arts. So I was still going to be doing things in the community, plus setting up my own business, bringing, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't going to be a isolated life. It was just going to be a quieter life. And my husband and I were saying, oh, yep, there's no nightlife in Northern. We didn't come up to Northern for the nightlife. And then my husband would say, we're going to be the entertainment. We're bringing the entertainment to Northern. And he was going to do all these gigs and do his music and this and that, rah-rah. But just had no confidence to actually make it happen. He was given so many opportunities. He was given one amazing opportunity that the people were already there, and the entertainment that was supposed to be there, which was karaoke, wasn't there because the guy didn't turn up because he was sick. And we just lived up the road. My husband could just really easily gone up, got his equipment. He could have things set up within 40, 50 minutes. And then he could have performed that night, and he would have had a regular gig at the Duke's Inn. All those people would have been really happy. It would have been a rip-roaring night, and he didn't feel confident enough. It was too small. Like if it's someone's 70th birthday, for example, in some flash hotel, flash pub, you know, and it's like it's already a pre-existing arrangement, a pre-existing situation. There's already people coming because they're invited because it's someone's birthday, and it's already an established type scenario, and he just has to come in and sing these songs he knows by rote. That is living so small, because he knows he can do that with his eyes closed, and he didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to extend himself to do that gig. Nothing. But to actually set up in a small country town and say, oh, the karaoke's not working, but I'll perform for you all. I know you all came here to sing, do karaoke, but, and he goes, oh, hang on a minute, we can still do karaoke. I'll do some singing and you can do some singing. Do you know that was in the first month or something of us being in Northern? That was what God gave him. God gave him, boom, silver spoon. Could have just done the entertainment like that, boom, and he didn't. He didn't take it up, and my heart broke that particular night. And then everyone who came to that karaoke that night left within 40, 50 minutes or an hour. We left. It just, everything died in the butt. He could have been entertaining everyone until 11 p.m. that night, and boom, he would have been set. He would have been set in Northern to perform from that point on, which was his dream, but too small, too scared, too worried that he wasn't good enough, you know. I went, wow, what on earth? If I was an amazing singer and I was given that opportunity, I'd be going, yeah, thank you. I couldn't believe it. I just remember going, wow, where are you at? How can you not see this as a blessing from God? Couldn't believe it. And just kept on going on and on and on. So there was no, oh, I'm bringing the entertainment to Northern. None of that actually happened. None of that happened, you know. And then I'm like, okay, so you're not going to sing. I'm not going to get to dance. Well, there goes that plan, that amazing potential, which we always believe was a outright reality. Like, we knew it could happen. We knew he's got the equipment, the ability. The dog's having so much fun here. I'll just put my hat back on. Okay, here we go. They're going to come back in a second. Zena, Alvin. Oh, there. Zena, Alvin. Yeah. So we're on the river. Woohoo! Yeah, this is Alvin's old haunt. And this is Zena's first time here. I didn't really want to come here until I knew I had voice control, because of other dogs do come here sometimes. But this is fun, isn't it, Zena Bina? Yes. Yeah, this is fun. And yeah, as I said, our other walk that we do is all underwater at the moment. The what do you call it? The Burloin to Moresque walk that we do. I can't walk it at the moment. There's nowhere to walk. So there you go. That's why we're here today. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. What am I trying to say to you? What am I trying to say is signing up for the quiet life, but I didn't sign up for a heartbroken life, you know, like a isolated, heartbroken, like, you know, what on earth have I done type life, like, and coming here, like this walk here, oops, the wind again, you know, these walks, of course, these are the highlights of my day. And I did share with someone a long time ago about Alvin just got me. The dogs have always been really challenging to manage on my own financially. Zena, look, she just rolled all over me. I don't know if you can see that. She has literally just rubbed mud all over my leg. Lovely. Anyways. Oh, she's made my legs so wet. I don't do that. Look at her face. Yeah, she was going to do it again. Yeah, it's interesting, you know, like, I shared this on one of my videos a long time ago. That little dog over there, that little Xenobina, she's put me in abject poverty because, like, 2 weeks after we got her, I had to give up my job because I couldn't leave her home alone, you know, and because I had a little 3-month-old and a little 14-month-old and couldn't leave them home alone, and unbelievable. I was like, whoa, 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 left field much, you know, like, and, you know, and the big one, he's now sterilised, but that's been so stressful. Zena's booked in, and like working out how to get the money to sterilise him, this and that, And I was like, oh my gosh, like on top of everything else, these dogs are just so much, and I, you know, trying to find them, get enough food to feed them when I was, whoa. Because around that time, I also had a major plumbing issue, like my water wouldn't turn off, and Water Corp came up to the top, and they did what they would do, and then they wouldn't do anything else. They said, no, not doing anything else. And I said, well, what about the rest of the water leak? So I had they said, oh, you're going to have to dig it all up. You're going to have to dig up the yard. You're going to have to find out where the pipes are. I said, but can't you survey it with one of your machines to find where the pipes are, and we flag it so at least I know where the underground pipes are? No, we don't do that. I was like, you have to be kidding me. So I'm going to have to dig up this whole yard, find the existing pipes from the previous owner, not the previous owner, but the previous owner, which is 30 years ago. Got to find the pipes from 30 years ago. You've got to be kidding me. And that was in summer. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to dig up in summer. I'll wait till it's winter, and I'll wait till the ground's softer. So that's been really, really interesting. And then what happened was I got a plumber to come in to do what he could. And as I shared earlier, you know, that cost me $1,300. But I had to ask in advance, can you do this work? No, I can only pay back at $50 a fortnight. And in a small country town, you know, they'll say, they opened up and they said yes to that. A lot of people wouldn't. In the city, they wouldn't. So I had that happening as well, peoples. It was just so much. It's just been a lot of challenges, you know, a lot of challenges. A lot of financial challenges, a lot of emotional challenges. And it all started because someone didn't honour their word. You know, it all started from one person betrayed me, one person deceiving me, one person basically living a fantasy but never actually able to honour what they actually really meant. Like, no conviction behind their actual words or something, or their promises or their dreams. Or so heartbreaking, you know. It's really heartbreaking, especially when it's someone who you love with your heart and soul, and then you realise, whoa, they haven't even been loyal to me. They haven't even, like, yeah, sure, they love me. I know they love me, but they only love me to a certain level because they don't even love themselves. Do you know how sad it is to love someone who doesn't actually love themselves? And to be completely 100% committed to someone who actually has no loyalty or commitment to me or the marriage. Like, you know, like, because they don't have loyalty and commitment to themselves. Like, you know, you can only give what you give to yourself. But anyway, back to that, peoples. Turning betrayal into wisdom. I was self-betraying myself. I have shared this so many times before. More and more learning about this. Everything that's happened that I have perceived as painful or excruciating or abusive or heartbreaking or a challenge, or, you know, whatever words you want to put on it, anything along that track, I've had to go, okay, I feel betrayed by so-and-so. Where have I betrayed myself? Right, I feel deceived by so-and-so. Where have I deceived myself? Oh, I've been lied to by so-and-so. Where have I lied to myself? Because what's happening on the outer world is a reflection of what's happening in the inner world. So for me to be in a situation where I was allowing someone to betray me and lie myself, and that's why I shared my other video when I'm like self-sacrifice. When we self-sacrifice, we're self-abandoning, self-betraying, self-dishonour, self-lying, you know. Self-sacrifice means we're not in our heart and we're not living our truth. It means we're living small, we're making another situation or someone else more important than us. We're not honouring, we're not loving ourselves. We're not coming from a place of godly self-love. So everything that's happened that I can perceive as betrayal or me being deceived or me being lied to, everywhere, in each situation, I can see that only occurred because I didn't honour my boundaries. I didn't honour my self-worth. I didn't honour that I was worthy enough to put clear boundaries in place, or to say, no, I will not accept this behaviour, or okay, right now, okay, regardless of whether I don't, regardless of whether I know you've had a life of being bullied and manipulated and abused and dominated, and you find it really hard to make a decision on your own, and I'm just trying to encourage you to get that confidence, to believe in yourself enough that you can make a decision. Like, yeah, you can do it. Come on, my love, come on. Okay, you come from a place of heart. You're in a heart stance. You can say to someone, my love, we need counselling on this. My love, no, this is too painful for me. This is a particular topic that we definitely need to work on. That is not manipulation. That is not bullying, and that is not being bossy. But I was so concerned about, because I knew that my beautiful husband had always been overridden, over-dominated, over-manipulated. And he told me for year after year after year after year after year after year after year, I'm the one that was teaching him how to say no to people. I said, start with me. Learn how to say no to me first. Then he started trying to say no, like, for example, to his brother. Like, he would say once, I remember once, he's like, actually, this is what I think about blah, blah. His brother goes, I don't care about your opinion. And my husband, my fiance at the time, just got up and left. I said, why couldn't, and I should have got up and left too. We should both just left. He was on our back veranda. We both should just got up. Both of us should have just got up. But I was so proud of my husband for going, actually, this is my thoughts on this particular topic. And together, we ought to both have left and gone, because that's his way to say, no, sorry, I have boundaries. Another person he was letting say no to was a dear friend who died of cancer not long ago. And I was trying to teach him to say to people, look, if this conversation's going for too long, just snap it in the bud. Just say, no, it's okay, I need to go, I need to do this. And trying to teach him confidence that he has the right to have boundaries and to say no, and his opinions are valid. And I've been for years and years and years as a friend, as his on-off lover, and then as his partner, and then as his wife, always been working at helping him to learn confidence and self-respect and self-esteem and self-love. And so I, unfortunately, in that paradigm, within that dynamic, made him more important than me, made him into a god, over-compromised. Just everyone who was watching us saying, but Nadina, you've got to start stepping up for yourself more. Like, Nadina, what about your needs? Nadina, he's just taking, using and abusing. I was saying, no, he's not using and abusing deliberately. He's not deliberately doing it. Like, I'd given off narcissistic but tendencies and behaviours, but I knew that he wasn't a narcissist. I've been learning a lot about narcissism behaviour because he's a victim of narcissism. He's a victim of narcissistic, trauma-bonded sibling and parental dynamics, but also friendships that he was attracting and other people that he was attracting into his life. He was attracting people that wanted to be that dominating bully. But unfortunately, in hindsight, I realised he was so conditioned and trained that the control element and being told what to do and how to be was comfortable. So when someone wasn't telling him what to do and how to be, he wasn't comfortable with that. When I asked him to step up in his power, when I asked him to step up to make decisions and be part of decision makings, there were times when he got involved when we were doing it collectively, and he was, really inspired, and it was beautiful to watch. There was other times when he just was like, and he'd freak out, and you could see the freak out in his face. And during those times, what I'm trying to say is where I betrayed myself is I wasn't stepping up for my needs because I was too worried about him perceiving it as me being a bully or me dominating the situation. But actually, it's my right as a wife, it's my right as a partner to say, we need to do counselling, or together we need to have some room. We're going under the trees now, see? Anyway, basically have learnt so much about self-respect, self-boundaries, self-honour, speaking my truth, saying what needs to be said, knowing in every single element of my being that that I need, like, I have a place, I have a voice, I have a right, I am here, I am worthy. And that me stating my worth is 100% okay. What an amazing big lesson. So that's how I've alchemized my betrayal into wisdom. I've alchemized my sense of being betrayed to the core of my being and being heartbroken to the core of my being and just being shattered to the very core of my being and having to rebirth myself and regrow myself from the broken shatters of nothingness, like rebuilding in God's full, like being humbled to my very knees and in God's pure protection, rebuilding bit by little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit into this child of God who believes and knows she is worthy. She's worthy of love, she's worthy of respect, she's worthy of protection, she's worthy of honesty, she's worthy of consistency, she's worthy of commitment, she's worthy of loyalty. And if that's not there, boof. So it's interesting how I am now, how I've alchemized what I am now. I'd say I've grown up, I've grown, and I'd say what I am now is, say if someone's grown up in a really healthy environment with loving parents, they've got these healthy boundaries in place, they know they're worthy of love and respect, they wouldn't tolerate the crap that I've accepted, they wouldn't accept it, they would never accept it for one single second. I accepted it for years and years and years and years and years. I've just been accepting it from so many different people. Like, and more so from the person who I love with my heart and soul, like just been accepting outright abusive behaviour from people, thinking that they'll work it out for themselves to not do it, or they'll get to a place of heart and love where they wanting them to work it out for themselves. But come to realise, I learnt this lesson the other day, a hard lesson by the way, but not just the other day, but ages ago. But men and women do communicate differently and perceive things differently. So like a lot of women I know who are in these long-term relationships, they say, you've got to guide and train your men. You've got to show them and teach them how to be. I said, it should just come naturally. Someone should just be able to work it out. It's common sense. And I've come to realise, no, it's not common sense. A couple of things I've realised. One, and I've had people tell me this, so it's not like I worked it out. I've been reminded over and over and over and over and over again, Nadina, you have a very, very high IQ. You're emotionally like through the roof, intelligent, if not a genius. Your emotional intelligence is this next level. Your spirituality and your awareness of nature is next level. Your connection to your heart and your godliness is just astounding, the next level. And a lot of what you are and how you are is actually not normal. It's actually, a lot of people aren't like this. They don't live in the heart stars like you. And I was trying to work it out with all these people. Well, what is it that brings my mind to this level? Well, one, of course, I grew up with no safety, no parameters, no boundaries, and I'm so blessed to say I did not grow up with any narcissistic family. I didn't grow up with narcissists. I only learned that about a month ago. Me and a friend of mine realised we're one of the few people we know who respond and act differently to certain situations, whereas there's all these other people we know who react a certain way, and there's a similarity between the way they respond and react. And I realised, because they grew up with narcissistic families and narcissistic siblings, so they don't have a sense of identity and they give their power away to the bullies. So I've come to realise that even though I grew up without boundaries and grew up without safety, I still was allowed to be independent and an individual and make mistakes and explore, and the world was my oyster type thing, and I had to be resilient. I had to work things out. I had to work things out to survive. I had to become self-resilient, self-sufficient. I only can rely on myself. Never would I skittle tittle tattle to a bully and go, I give my power away to you. Put my nappy on, please. I just need to plug in my computer and drink alcohol, go small. I'd never in 100 years would skittle tittle tattle run to someone to try to keep me alive. It's like, where's my accountability? Where's my responsibility? But what I've had to learn is when to ask for help, how to get help, and to believe that I'm worthy of help, worthy of support, yeehaw, and worthy of commitment and worthy of love. And that's what's been happening. I am surrounded by people, inundated by people, just on a regular basis. What's happening, there's a few reasons why it's happening. One, I've reached out in a certain way that I've never reached out before. I've become really vulnerable and really let it be known, but my dog's life were at stake. My dogs were starving, you know. So, you know, what do you do when your animals are starving? What do? You know, you don't let animals starve. And, you know, I knew, I'm part of a Christian community. I knew that if I let people know the truth of the matter, somebody would step up. Somewhere along the line, there's always people go, well, I can, because I would do that for someone else. I do. I offer my services a lot. So I knew that would happen. I knew that eventually someone would be going, well, I can actually help you with the retic stuff. I can help you with all that plumbing stuff. I can help you. This is the equine area here that we're in now. I can actually help you. And I say, look, there has to be balance. There needs to be a give and take, always. And I've had someone say to me, could you just let me help you? I said, okay, once. Once for no exchange, because yes, I'll do that for another. But if it's an ongoing situation, we've got to create a balance, please. I'm not a user, I'm not an abuser, I'm not a taker. So I believe in balance. I think balance is the fundamental, balance and honesty. Balance, honesty, authenticity and kindness. So important. So important. Yes. So that's what's been happening for me lately, is I've been drawing in and attracting really authentic. No, I won't even say lately, it's been happening my whole life. Because a lot of these people that are in my life now who are completely authentic and honest and, oi, Zena, Alan, come on. Thank you. Come on, stay near. There's a road up there, you see. Can you see it? There's a road up there. Come on, stay near. Anyways, it's a dirt road. It's only used by water corp. So anyways, what's my point in all this is a lot of the people who are really in my life, who are so authentic and loving and kind and courageous, have been in my life for 20 plus years. So really long-term friendships, like really amazing, deep connections. Some of them longer, some of them for 40 years. And the new ones, lots and lots of new ones. So many new ones. And Zena has just chosen to do a poo, unbelievably. And I actually don't have a poo bag because, far out, what a bad spot. Right smack bang where the horses play. Well, it's this. So what I've got here, because I don't have a bloody bag, I'm pretty sure it will rain tonight. Can't believe that. That just proves to me that I'm gonna I've got the things, but I'm gonna have to start bringing the poo bags. I think there's no, I thought there was a person over there watching me. I would have explained it. They would have said, yeah, no worries. It's a big area. Anyways, yeah, and it's such a beautiful experience, and how many people are authentic and kind and honest in my life, because that's all I'm accepting now. So interesting. I've actually let a lot of friendships go in the last few months. I've just got no energy now for game players. My sense of self-worth has just gone through the roof. Like, Zena, like, I will not tolerate abuse anymore. Like, I'm not going to tolerate disrespect or abuse, any form of belittling, any form of, there's this terminology called gaslighting. So when someone tries to make you look a certain way, and they're doing it to get a certain outcome, they all usually do it in front of someone else. And yeah, so many growths. I've alchemised beautifully, and it's been really hard. I spent most of last night and half of today in the most cathartic crying you could imagine. Like, I'll just show you my eyes, they're really damaged. Oh no, they actually look okay now, that's good. Oh wow, that's really good. Oh, they looked really bad this morning. They were all black and really horrible. Yeah, I've aged so much. In the last 4 or 5 months, I've aged about 10 years, I reckon. But when I heal properly, which I'm getting there, like, you can become really youthful. We can actually regrow ourselves. I can tell you right now, my body's in way less pain than it was before, so I'm physically healing all my injuries. That's just from me not being under so much stress, because I was under a lot of belittling, berating, pressure, like this really underhanded, sarcastic sort of negative berating, put down. Alvin, come here now. Come here. Sorry, he was about to chase a truck. Thank you. Not funny. I've never seen so many water court vehicles here before. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Yeah, I've never seen so many water court. Where are they? I've never seen so many water court vehicles here before. Like, there's been more than normal. Usually I've only seen one or two. Zena, stay near. So anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say, everyone, is this video, this YouTube, is just it's a catch on, follow on from the self-sacrifice one I did the other day, which is that self-sacrifice never works. Okay, that's where we abandon our needs, we lie to ourselves, we put up with crap that we should never put up with, we're too scared to say what we really want to say because we're worried about what the other person might think or do or say. So we're not being honourable to ourselves. We're not being honest with ourselves. We're abandoning ourselves. We're betraying ourselves. If we're betraying ourselves, of course we're allowing energy betrayal to come in, and then the other has this space where they can betray us. But we're betraying them as well because we're not being honest with them. So it's going two ways. It's really interesting, this story, because when one person is not being honest with themselves, they are betraying not only themselves but the other and everyone around. And I've come to learn that a lot of people, a lot of dynamics are based on dishonesty, disloyalty, non-commitment to the truth, and that's what you call the humdrum, Groundhog Day, vanilla type way of living, what some people might call the normal way of living. It's very, 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 very dull and shallow, and there's no real joy. There's no real amazingness in any of those ways of being or living. Oh, there's a train. I don't know who's watching this video. I never know, but every time I'm here and I see the train, I always get people watching my videos, but I can't see who they are. There you go. Pretty cool, eh? It'll go on for a long time. A long time. There's about 50 cabs or something. Yeah, they go on and on, those trains. See? It's still going. It'll go on and on and on. And on for ages. We have 3 or 4 of them a day. The one's at 3 in the morning. I love it. It's really peaceful. So, wait. Okay, get in. Zena, in. Come on. Zena, come on. Quick. Thank you, Nick. All the way. Anyways, yeah, for everyone that's following my YouTube and, I have to share with some of you that, I was so close to getting rid of my YouTube the other day. So close, and got another name for another business idea. And I just wanted to start from scratch. I just wanted to, start a whole new like delete this one, which means all the videos I've done get deleted. And there's so many. I think there's 200. I think there's actually 250 or something of them. I don't know. And in the beginning they were really raw because, as I said, God told me, you just tell the world. So I was like, my lives from June onwards, this time last year was so dark. This all started last year for my birthday last year. Really, it all started around March, April. Around the March, April frame, it started. But really got really heavy June this list. It's been 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. So, yeah. So in my surrendering of reality, surrendering to God's journey for me and reality, lie down, little ones. It's nice and warm in here. They're a bit wet. Can you see little Xenobina? Oh, can you see it? No, you can't see your head. Anyways, basically, what I'm trying to say, when I went to the ladies' night last night, the Celebrate Ladies' Night, there was a testimony, and the lady's testimony was of, she came from a really large family, and she always expected to have a large family, and it took 9 years for her and her husband to conceive their first child, and she had surrendered completely to the point that she would never have children. And it was obviously heartbreaking up to that 9 years, but she had a lot of miscarriages and blah blah, and they'd done IVFs, and in the IVF wasn't working, rah rah. And so then what happened was, the night that she completely surrendered to the fact that it wasn't her calling to have children. She said a month from that day she was pregnant with her child. So, but since then she's also had miscarriages. So she's had one healthy child who's now 3. He's beautiful. So that was the testimony, but there was all these other women at the group that we discussed some various things. It was a big group. There was about 45 or 50 of us, but there's a core group of us that was a core group that run it. It's called Coffee's Lady Night, but I'm sort of on the side of the group, so I do work, I do jobs, but I'm not in the actual, like, they don't need me. They need me. They go, yeah, thank you. I help with a lot of the heavy lifting and this and that, rah, rah, and a lot of the fine tuning. I did a lot of stuff in the kitchen last night, but I'm not part of the core committee. I don't want to be at the moment. But anyways, the ladies and I, as we were preparing for the night, and when the night finished and we were packing everything up, there was discussions around the surrender process. And yeah, I went home and I was thinking really hard about it. And obviously I went home and I was thinking about this lady's testimony about when she surrendered to not being a mother. And I went home and I went, okay, I surrendered to not being a wife. There you go. I did it. Took the rings off. That's what all my grief's been about really last night and today. I've surrendered. I have surrendered to the point of my husband doesn't have the ability to love, care or commit to anyone, which is what I said to him on the day that he left, until he learns how to love, commit and honour himself. He doesn't have the capacity to give or love to another. He definitely doesn't love the way I love. He definitely doesn't reciprocate my love. He doesn't, because he can't. He doesn't have the ability, whether it's because he's autistic or whether it's because he's damaged or he's never loved anyone or anything in his life. Not the way I know what love is, not the way I know other people know what love is. That's so sad. It's a tragedy. But if someone is incapable, see, my mother's the same. My mother has autism, and she loves me with her heart and soul. My husband loves me with his heart and soul. I'm his joy. I'm his best friend. He loves me completely. Within his capacity of how to love is within his capacity, and within his capacity there is very little empathy. He lacks frontal lobal empathy at the moment. I got told by God's let me know that he's working miracles, and I know that my husband can get that empathy when he deals with the trauma and he lets the veil go. Like when he lets that veil of trauma lift and he gets to that place of being really authentic within himself, when he does the dark shadow work and he really identifies goes deep into the childhood pains and goes deep into those areas in him that are really traumatized, and realizes they're his friends, which is what we've been working on for years, as friends, as on-off lovers, as friends, and as partners, and as husband and wife. So this has been a 15-year journey, or at least the last 12 years, right? So working on our traumas, everyone that I know, I help them work on their traumas. It's just something that I do. It's why a lot of people think I'm so amazing. I ought to be a counsellor and this and that, rah, rah. And my biggest thing was, you can't keep self-sacrificing. You can't keep loving someone who can't love me back the way I deserve and need to be loved. That's been my biggest pain. That's why I've been self-sacrificing the whole time. That's what led me to getting so, self-harming and suicidal. It was just this, why am I here? Why am I allowing myself to be treated this way? Why am I just giving this person my heart and my soul, giving him everything, and I'm getting crumbs? I'm getting crumbs, and I've always only gotten crumbs. Why am I allowing myself to be in an abusive relationship, psychologically abusive? I allowed it. I allowed it to continue me, because I was self-sacrificing, because I was so like, no, because there's those moments when he just surrenders to his heart and he surrenders to this child playfulness, that it's just, that's his truth, that's his essence, and that essence is magical. And I know that I'm the only one who's seen that side of him, because he only shows it to me, because it's his and my connection that actually allows it to come out. And that is the essence of our marriage. It's true, deep, magical love. Like, it's next level. It's twin soul love. It is beyond magical. No words can describe. But when someone is unable to withstand that heart space and they shut it down really quickly because they're either fearful, or they're trying to prove something to others, or they're too caught up in a certain dynamic, or, I mean, there's lots of different ways we can unpack this, and all of my videos have been unpacking this from the very beginning. You can't, well, can you or can't you? See, this is what I've been discussing with so many people. Can you or can't you stay committed to someone, which on many levels you can say is unrequited? So you're giving of something 110, and most people say I give 110% or more, and I'm getting maybe 2% back. Like, that's, everyone who's seen my dynamic with my husband says, yep, you give 110%, you give 110% to everything, and you might, if you're lucky, get maybe 2%, maybe 10% back. This is what people do with alcoholics, alcoholic partners, drug addicted partners. It's a pattern. It's a well-known dynamic. It's called a trauma bond dynamic. It's called a empath narcissistic dynamic. It's also called a twin flame dynamic. But the reason why it's a twin flame dynamic is if the underlying element of, if it's a twin flame dynamic, is if it's hard to explain, but I've done it in some of my other videos. So it's a really, you can tell when it's a twin flame dynamic when there's this such a deep level of playfulness, like it's like the child essence. It's like the people go into their inner child, and when that inner child gets to play, and when you show your full vulnerability from that inner child playful space, that is the truth of the essence. That's the twin flame essence. So when two people come together and they feel so safe with each other and so in love, so not in love necessarily, but so awakened by the other, so at peace with the other, that they play, they come alive, the inner child feels completely safe. You feel completely safe to be the completely most vulnerable you can ever be. You do anything around the person, you say anything around the person. That is genuine soul bond, twin flame connection. Some people try to say they're quite rare, and they're relatively rare, but they're not as rare as what some new agey people try to make out. You know, some new agey people try to say it's very, 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 very rare, and you're very, very lucky if you're in a twin flame relationship. There's a lot of other ethos out there that says no. There's actually quite a lot. Also, since 2020, the twin flames have been activated with the DNA portals that got activated in 2019. So a lot of people's soul journeys and soul messages and have been activated. So that's why a lot of twin flames came together in 2019, because the frequency of the planet got heightened. So it's reactivated something was dormant in a lot of people. So for my beautiful husband, who I am surrendering, like whatever it is, like this is the weirdest thing ever, but it's just the weirdest thing to go, yeah, okay, so on a 3D level, this is what we purported we wished for, this is what we purported we wanted, this is what I've been desiring, and forever I've loved him for a very, like, what is it, 8 something years, and he's been doing the push-pull game for a really long time. You know, he was doing the chase for 5 years, and I was then we were doing the push-pull for, I think it was 8 years. And then there was a commitment, a semblance of commitment, but it wasn't as true or deep as either of us really wished it to be, because it had too much trauma to work through, which got activated through our commitment. And then our commitment has been this amazing journey of learning and healing, which in the beginning I was like, obviously there's lots of trauma and pain around it, but also in the beginning I was like, yeehaw, bring on the healing for the amazing reunion, and actually moving for how we really can be, what we know we can really be, what we can be, and what we know we have been, because we've done it. We've been in that space so many times. We know what our essence is. Like, we know what it is. We've experienced it in 3D. We both know. He and I will never, ever, ever be able to not forget each other. We will always remember those times. We'll always remember those magical times and what we're capable of when interference doesn't come in, and when trauma doesn't rear its ugly head, and when we're being honest with each other rather than dishonest. So when people are speaking from a place of honesty and authenticity, that's where the magic happens. When people come from that place of kindness and loyalty. See, I have had loyalty from my husband, but it wasn't 100%. The reason why it wasn't 100% is because, unbeknownst to me, his trauma bond connection with narcissistic siblings was so strong that he didn't even know it was there. He was in denial of it. But now it's so obvious. It's so obvious that he is like got that fear-based loyalty to a trauma. And until he frees himself from that, he won't ever be able to have joy or happiness in his life, ever. He won't ever be able to commit to creativity or doing his dreams. If he's continually under the thumb of this dynamic, this really dysfunctional trauma bond, learnt behaviour, very twisted, very macabre, very dark. Like, he's all I've ever heard him say about anyone that he has known from his past, like family members, sister, brother, mother, stepdad, certain friends, this person that he just had the unfortunate experience of actually putting sperm inside of and conceiving these children. So all of these people, he has never said a single nice thing ever about any of these people. This is in 5 years of friendship, 8 years of us being on and off lovers, and 2 years of us being in a couple. And one of those years, nearly two and a half years of being a couple, and 2 years of being married. So in all of that time frame, I've never heard him say anything good or nice about any of those people. He's only ever said really nasty, disparaging, dark stuff. And the only things he ever said is how dark and nasty these people are. Pathological liars, cold-hearted, nasty. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And for years and years and years, I've been feeling this deep sense of sorriness for this guy, that he says he's never had any joy in his life. He's never been able to even make a place his home, which is why when he got his first home, I was like, is this how you want your home? He goes, no, good, no, this is vanilla, this is not me. I said, well, do you want some help to make it you? Yes, please. And then I was like, oh, yeehaw, he's not vanilla. Because I remember when I first saw that apartment going, is this you? Is this actually you? He goes, no, this is not me. This is vanilla. This is so not me. And then we started looking at wallpapers and tiles and this and that, and he started showing his true colours, and this was like, helping him, work out ideas, and he's like getting really excited. And then he, made this beautiful home with the help of a mutual friend of ours and myself. Lots of hard work from our mutual friend and myself. Lots and lots of physical hard work. And we made that place beautiful. And he made it into a home. He made it exactly how he wanted it. It was perfect. But then he was like, I want to get out of here. I can't handle it. I want to be in the bush, and with you, I can be in the bush. I've always wanted to be in the bush, but I've always needed you. I've needed someone with me by my side. So with you by my side, I can be in the bush. I've always wanted to live in Northern. Woohoo! Or not always Northern, but I've loved Northern since I first saw it. I've always wanted to live in bush house, bush to chooks, blah, blah. So let's just say that's his essence. That's his truth. That's his truth. And then the fear of staying small and staying in what's so known is the last thing I expected. The last thing I expected. I thought it was really beyond, being small and being squashed and being trapped and being controlled. And I just believed every single word that came out of his mouth. Let's leave it at that. But the actions weren't necessarily backing up the words. And this is why it's so important, everyone. Like, it's such a hard journey. I know others have gone through this. There's so many articles about this, gone on for 1.5 hours. There are so many articles on this, so many articles like, how much commitment do you keep giving to someone? How much do you keep living through a dream? How much patience do you have for someone? How much surrendering do you have? How much do you, what are the words here? But the important thing is not to self-sacrifice. So we need to know, but it's the journey that teaches us where we are self-sacrificing. It's the journey that teaches us what we are not, and this journey has taught me so much about me. Who I am now is not who I was 2 months ago. Who I am now is not who I was 6 months ago, not who I was 1 year ago, definitely not who I was 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 years ago. I am so much more of a stronger essence of my truth now than I've ever been in my whole life, which is why I've got firm boundaries around behaviour. So the other day, this person said and did something to me, and I basically said, stop, not engaging in this behaviour. No energy for it. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. And this person looked at me like, well, but I won't do it. If someone is lying to me and I know they're lying, stop. Not going to do it anymore. And I don't care if someone thinks I'm a bitch now, because to do that, to actually go, stop, that's my right. I don't want to hear your lies. I'm sick of hearing lies. If someone's going on and on and on about something for too long, I'm like, okay, that's great. Very interested. Now, I heard the details and I'm glad it fascinates you. Now let's move on. Or, there's ways of doing it that's respectful, okay? So anyways, all I want to say, everyone, is that alchemizing wisdom, the betrayal to wisdom, is a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful process. And what it does is it creates us getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to God and closer to being godly. And by taking my rings off last night, the only reason I did that was because it feels false to have them on. Because when I got married from my heart with full conviction. When I got married, it was from a place of truth and authenticity and a lifetime commitment and pure loyalty. I got married with the intentions of creating this amazing life together, a full, complete commitment to making a fantastic life. And do you know what that involves? It involves working through the dark times. It involves working through the trials and tribulations. All these amazing marriages, you talk to anyone that's got a really healthy, the vanilla marriages, don't compare them. The vanilla marriages are where people go and watch TV, or they never talk, or, blah, 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 blah. We all know the vanilla marriages. They're a dime a dozen. Some of those marriages might last a long time. They're the vanilla marriages, vanilla heads, you know, in vanilla houses, living vanilla lives, inauthentic. So those marriages aside, because they're not real marriages, that's just a convenient sort of arrangement for maybe their asset building or maybe for their status, whatever, but they're not actually in love with each other. There's no true commitment or respect or loyalty or love. It's just a convenience, right? The real marriages, when you speak to someone who are in real marriages, every single one of those relationships has worked through the hard times with pure commitment and pure resolve, pure dedication, because they're committed to the marriage. They're committed to making an amazing team. And then throughout time, they get such a sense of safety and loyalty, and I just want to use the word loyalty as in they know the other person's got their back. They know that person's got their back, and they go, oh. And then the feminine energy can actually finally go into her full nurturing stage and her full creative stage and rah. The masculine energy can go into the full doing and not providing as in they provide everything, but that real, you know, they're the protectors, right? They're the protectors. The masculine energy is like the protector, and the feminine energy is the nurturer, and together they create this amazing symbiotic relationship where they flourish and they grow, and all sorts of magic gets created, like the amazing businesses out there and amazing organizations and activities and charities, and you look at something that's rocking, something that's doing really well. It's a team. And there's usually a nuclei of a husband and a wife in there because they've got each other's back and they grow beautifully. So that's the energy I got married in with. And the energy that I was given was the fantasy land, which was purported to be similar, like the dream and the envisioning and the teamwork and the blah, 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 you know? It's a big thing when you go, where did I not see that person was lying? How could I not see that I was being betrayed? Where did I not see that this person was just talking a fantasy? Like, how did I not get it? Where were the clues? Were they clear and I just didn't miss them? Or was I spoken to the truth and then the truth got denied, and then the cover-up, the narrative is the lie, which is what I've been believing for months now, that the purported trauma-bonded narrative that's being spread out is the lie, and the truth is what I believed. So the truth is the love. So this is where I'm at, and that's why taking my wedding rings off is a really big deal, because I've been keeping them on deliberately by holding energy. I've been holding space for the truth to prevail. And then for me to surrender, like in the testimony the other night when the lady surrendered to not being a mother, I've gone, right, so the person who I thought was the love of my life, the person who I believed was the person that God wanted me to marry, I surrendered to God. I 100%, I have no idea what this journey that you've got me on. I have no idea with this journey you've got me on. Like, and I fully surrendered to the journey, and that actually includes I surrender. I can't find the right words to describe it, sorry, but it's like I surrender to, by letting the ego go, by going, okay, because I love my husband with my heart and soul. I'm completely heartbroken right now. I've been really heartbroken now for pretty much since we got married, believe it or not, like pretty much since we moved up to Northern, and I realised that he wasn't committed to our dream, our life, or me, and I started to realise that whatever he was or is, or what he was purporting to want it to be, there was disparities in there. There's a duality. There was something not consistent, and I just didn't have the strength. I didn't have the skill set or the strength. Another train. I'm still here, guys. It's a long talk, isn't it? Oh, I'm trying to turn the camera around. Cute, eh? I love it. Anyways, what I want to say is that it's a journey of I've just had to do so much reflecting and evaluating and deciphering and surrendering and all these so many layers of releasing and comprehending and like look at all my videos, you'll see how much learning I've done. One thing I've had to learn is how evil people can be, like how dark and nasty and evil people can be. I didn't think people could be that nasty and that dark. So to realise people can be that macabre and that dark and that selfish and that cruel and that game playing, that rocked me. And to realise people could lie so easily and to deceive and to betray and to stay, just continue really disruptive, damaging patterns like that. I just couldn't believe it. That just like, it's just shattered me. And then I'm going, right, so I'm right here. I'm in the middle of this web of deceit and lies and betrayal and nastiness and macabreness. And if I had known anything that was going to happen, I would never have gotten anywhere. I would never have come anywhere near this web. Never in 1,000 years would I have come anywhere near this web. Never. I would never have come anywhere. I didn't need to. I had too many other beautiful things happening in my life. My life was on fire. My life was working. My life was amazing. And it's just become like a traumatic nightmare, like one of the most challenging experiences I've ever experienced in my life, and ongoing without seeming light at the end of the tunnel. And I've surrendered to God. Well, there's a reason for it. It's my pathway, and all the learnings. Wow, the learnings, like next level. And I know that God needed me to get to my truth and get to me to surrender completely. That's the end of the train. God got me to surrender. I got broken to my knees, June last year, wasn't it? July last year. Broken and humbled to my knees, which is what caused me to really turn to God and become a full Christian. So there you go. And that's a beautiful journey. Look at what I made at the women's night, the celebrate night. One of the people fell off. I'll turn it around, okay? Okay, so this little one fell off. It's super glue. So let's stick together. That was our craft thing for last night. And they've got eyes to stick on there too. So in this, I've got Anthony and myself, and I've got Zena, Alvin, and little Ollie Bolly. So that's our family. That's our cute little family. Ollie's fallen over, the little cat. But that's because I did this video before. I was driving down Katrine Drive, and I had the phone here, and I was taking footage of the road. It's a really beautiful historical road, and so I accidentally knocked the last stick off. But yeah, everyone, that's it. It's a big journey. Alchemising betrayal into wisdom. Really, it's about where have we betrayed ourselves? Where have we betrayed ourselves? And we can't over analyze the past for the wisdom we have now, because the wisdom I have now is very different to the wisdom I had 2 years ago. Now I would look at each situation differently. I would respond differently. I would see it differently, and I would respond differently, and I would never, ever, ever have a situation like that ever occur again. I will never be so betrayed or duped or deceived or lied to by another the way I was in the past, because now I look for the signs. I'm aware that it can happen. See, now I know it can happen. Now I realise what people are capable of. People are capable of lying in a way I never thought they were. So that's been a very good lesson to learn. People purport fantasies, and then I think it's important to unpack it and go, so in reality, what do you think that really means? Did a lot of unpack it. It's exhausting. You've got to do like counsel talk almost, but I've got a lady that wants to go on business with me, And I said, and I've been given her all these things. I said, consider this scenario, blah, 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 blah. And she goes, oh, wow, you're really thorough. I said, yeah, because I've been deceived a lot. Been really betrayed and deceived a lot lately. And now I've come to realize that you've got to bloody unpack everything. If you don't unpack it and say, what's your reality on this? How do you really see this? Let's go beyond the fantasy talk. Let's go beyond the dream talk. Let's unpack this a bit further. Is there any trauma connected to this? Like, is there a pattern connected to this? Like, do that type of talking with the person first. Some of them might get offended. Great, you've ended that dynamic. Or they'll learn, grow, and come back, and you can continue on a high level. But do that talking, even though it might be uncomfortable with someone. And then you can find out if it's someone you really want to go in partnership with, or someone you really want to marry. Then you find out they're really telling the truth. Because what I've come to realize is a lot of people lie to themselves. And what I've come to realize as well, if you know someone like me who's very resilient, creative, innovative, adventurous, authentic, unconventional, very, very, very quick thinking, can really get their words out, can think fast, but articulate clearly, can multitask, can mediate, can see a whole situation, is empathic, can see what's happening for the other, mostly what they can see that's obvious, not necessarily obvious, but what they're capable of picking up, and then trying to get the other person to become aware of it if they need to, If you know someone like me, you will also get inspired to dream. People like me help people dream. We help people dream because they see through us the ability to step up. They see through us the ability to be brave, and that they see the possibilities. They see what's potential. They can see what can happen because they can feel that essence of aliveness and truth, and they can feel that godly energy of all is possible. So what I've experienced, and what a lot of you experience if you meet people like me, or if you are someone like me, what you'll experience is people go, yeah, woohoo, yeehaw, and they get really excited, and they step up, and they start living this life that they want. And then all of a sudden they go, oh my God, oh, this is too scary, backtrack, I gotta go back here where I know it. Oh! And then what they often do in that energy, which is just crazy, but it makes complete sense, they then turn the inspirer, the person who inspired them, into the enemy. Because then they can actually say, you tricked me into this, or because of you I did this, or da. And they're not taking any ownership. They don't want to admit that they've gone small, they've gone scared. They don't want to admit that they got excited and it was so possible, but they just don't feel like they've got the capacity. Oh, I don't know how to do it. Help. They don't want to admit that they feel like a failure, or that they sometimes they might not even be aware that they're having those feelings. They just go, knee-jerk reaction, I don't want to know you. You inspired me to dream. I'm getting rid of you, and I'm going to go back small. I'm going to stop dreaming. If I get rid of you, I'm going to stop dreaming. But I've got to make out that you're the problem. So they get this yucky energy, right? This really yucky, attacky energy. Believe me, I've had my fair share of it. You just look at it now and you go, yeah, blah, blah. It's so boring. Oh, another one of those people that can't face that they don't feel like they've got the ability. So what will happen as well is some of those people then learn their lessons another train. Woohoo! They learn their lessons in their own time. So one of my friends, I have a dear friend, and she was going big with me, and then she went small. Then we had a falling out, and now she's really come back. Two friends, actually, two friends, probably more than two, actually, if I think about it. And what they've done is they've come back with a vengeance, and they've actually, in reality, in truth, stepped up, because they went big, then they went small, and then in their own time, they got back to that level that they were at with me, but they've done it on their own feet. They've done it from themselves. They did it themselves, so it's authentic, it's true. And now we can keep going and move along, and they still want to move up and they want to come higher with me, but they're going at their own pace. So that also happens. Very exciting. But just be aware of the scapegoat mentality that happens when people are inspired by someone who is innovative and strong and creative and doesn't just do it but does it. Like, I'm a doer. and I'm practical. I've got that beautiful balance of practicality, logic, creativity. I've got this really amazing balance of I've got the skill set where I can do a lot of stuff, and I've got the artistic visioning where I can actually visualize. It's a really nice balance. And so when you have that really nice balance of emotion and logic, which is wise mind, it's perfect balance between heart and mind. When you have a really good balance between being creative and a visionary, and you've also got the practical skills of actually, oh, how can it happen? Then you've got the self-love and the self-care to go, right, so if I enlist and network and mediate and I get this, this, and this, and this, and this happening, then it could become possible. And then through that, then we what's the word, delegate. We can delegate and we can network and we get things happening. We actually get things happening. We're called doers. And doers are wonderful people to be around. And a lot of people are very inspired to do when they're around a doer. And some people maintain that energy and they're able to keep going with that energy. But they've got to be more, they've got to be really aligned with you or more honest with themselves. Or what am I trying to say here? Sometimes you'll meet someone who's inspired by you, who's really ready to do the walk their talk and do the work. Okay. Other times you'll meet people who are inspired, but then they retract. And so with that energy, what does one do? Because in the past, I used to keep pulling olive branches out, and I used to keep, they'd retract, and sometimes they'd retract and they'd be really, really nasty and really mean. And then eventually they would apologize to me and they'd want to come back. And then the pattern would happen again and again and again. Other people would just retract, disappear, and I put a boundary down. I was like, no, you went too far. Other times people would retract, not be aggressive at all, but they would just retract, come back. And so there wasn't any trauma there. They're the best. They're, and what am I trying to say here is, just saying that alchemizing is not an easy journey, and way showers is not an easy journey. Being a light bearer is also not an easy journey. I'm like a catalyst for healing for people because I've done so much healing within myself. So other people like myself who watch this channel, and I've had a lot of responses of people saying, I've had some pretty amazing responses, hey. Yeah, so back to this YouTube channel. I've had people say, please do not give up your YouTube channel, please, like, keep it going. But I've actually said to some of the people, why aren't you responding on my YouTube channel? Why can't you, some of this stuff you say in email form, why can't you say it on my channel? People aren't brave enough to do it. And so I thought, okay, this is interesting. So, and I've noticed a lot of people who do YouTube channels turn comments off, and they do that to keep it simple. So, and they always put an email contact on their homepage, so you can still be in dialogue with people that way, and it's a bit more personal, a bit more safer. So I thought, yeah, that's interesting. Because I do watch these other YouTubers to see how they do their channels and where they're going with it and this and that, rah, rah. I've seen heaps that have long ones, heaps that have short, heaps go, they keep it an organic, this and that, rah, rah, just let it go, whatever. See, the thing is, people will get what they get from each channel. Like my channel right now is about raw vlogging to survive. I've been surviving the most insane betrayal that a human being can experience. Sane betrayal. The one thing that I haven't had to experience, which is amazing, I've never had a husband that's been what's the word, sexually cheated. So that's one form of betrayal that I haven't had to experience, and I've met people that have had that experience and ongoing. And I think you marry someone and there's betrayal. Like, I find it very interesting actually, because I know this one person whose husband sexually betrayed her while she was pregnant with their child, and yet for some reason that's a forgivable situation. Like, for some reason everyone thinks that's okay. I also know someone who betrayed someone. Well, I don't know these people as good close friends. I just know of the stories around these people. I've been told them very clearly in detail. And yeah, I won't go into the other story. It doesn't matter. But anyways, I'm thinking, wow, that's a big one. That's a big one. Sexual betrayal. That's a big one. And God's been really kind to me that's one betrayal that I haven't had to experience. And that's one of the reasons why. Let's go back to, I'm married. I'm technically married, and I've had a few really lovely men ask me if I want to go on a date. And I don't know how long do you wait for someone who is just playing a stupid game of lying. They're lying through their teeth about you to everyone, telling people so many lies. And these people are like, yeah, give me another lie. Give me another lie. Yeah, feed me that lie. I want that lie. Yeah, this gives me fodder for my boring life. When someone is caught up in a narrative with really dysfunctional, traumatized, narcissistic people, and they're caught up in a narrative that's based on lies and demonizing, like putting someone, being just outright ridiculously just completely ungodly. Like there is nothing kind or nice or compassionate or I don't know, the words I'm trying to think of. Like they're just hanging out for any information they can have just to feed their narrative, to feed their little entertainment little story. They don't want to see any truth. And if there was a truth presented and it wasn't a truth they want to see, they wouldn't accept it anyways. So how long does one stay committed to someone who has stated to a family member and also to a counsellor that they lie to their family about me, the love of their life, in order to belong, in order to speak in a way that they understand, in order to belong, because that's the safety small net. I stay small here. If I speak that negative, disparaging language, then I will stay in that coven. I will stay in that sect. And then at least I always know that I have that as a plan B, like a backup plan B. So how long does someone stay committed to someone knowing that they're caught up in trauma bond, knowing that they're in a very narcissistically trauma bond, really dark, very demonic, very dysfunctional dynamic that's everything is based on lies, and they're only stuck there because they're in that process of working out their truth. So when someone's in that process and they are working out their truth, working out who they are, so they went high, then they go small again, and in that smallness they feel safe because it's all they've ever known. And in that smallness, they're in turmoil, they're in absolute anguish and trauma, they're in hell. And in that hell, they have a choice of staying in that hell and staying small and with full knowledge of what they've done, because they know what heaven is, they know what joy is, they know what love is. And in that, they can build up resilience, their own resilience to speak their truth, to be their truth, to not betray themselves. And it's from that they can then truly love and commit and not betray. How long? That's the question. How long do you stay committed to someone that's demonizing, like turning? So I've been turned yet again into the enemy because I am the one that showed the truth. I'm the one that showed what love is, what light is, what true living is, what true beauty is, what true magic is. That's a very high place to get. So for one to realize they've relinquished that, they've let that go because they don't feel like they can sustain it, they don't feel ready for it. So rather than honor that and say, thank you for everything I experienced with you, thank you for your trust in me, your faith in me, your love in me, thank you for your leap of faith with me. Sorry I haven't been able to step up or stand up or honor my promises. Sorry that I betrayed you. I need to go small now.
let's that's actually called, it's called conscious uncoupling. This is what my husband's never done. He's never actually had a conversation with me. He just runs. He just runs because he doesn't know how to have the conversation. And I know this. I give him leeways all the time, leniences all the time. I've always done this because he's potentially autistic, unassessed autistic. So I'm constantly giving him what do you call it? Ace cards, like allowing bad behavior that I wouldn't allow in anyone else. Like constantly going, I'll let you get away with that one because of blah, blah, blah. So again, how much do you let someone get away with when you know their essence, when you know someone's truth? I've got this really good friend, for example, who has blown it with me over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And yet I still invited her to my birthday party on Monday. I invited her. I still invited her because I know her truth. So I don't care. I didn't care whether she came or not. I didn't expect a response. I can't get her out of my heart yet because I know that in her heart and her truth, she knows that there's something about us. We actually have an essence. We actually have an essence that I'm never going to forget, right? And she will never forget it. So when you have a true connection like that, you don't ever forget them, and we don't ever let them go completely. There's always something in us that will always think of them, and every now and again reach out to them. So, yeah, as a wife with a husband that's run from fear of being, he doesn't feel like he's got the ability to be a loving, committed husband. He doesn't feel like he has the capability of being what I need, or what he doesn't feel like he can do it. He feels he's got all these self, issues going on. He doesn't accept that I love him for who he is. I love him for who he is, and I always have. He can't hear that yet because he doesn't love himself for who he is yet, because he thinks he's a failure. Sure, I could have done better. Sure, there's thousands of men that would tick boxes and being the perfect husband, a better husband. Sure, in many ways he is substandard as a husband. We all know that. I knew that. I knew that before I married him. That was part of the sacrifice. When I married him, I knew that I was marrying someone that couldn't tick a lot of boxes that I knew another husband would have been able to tick. But I married my husband because I love him with my heart and soul, because we're twin flames. I married him knowing that I was going to carry a bigger part of the burden. But what I had to learn is that not necessarily. So I've come to learn that the masculine and the feminine, I can't keep stepping up. Oh, I thought there's all these water court people driving by, and I thought one of them had pulled over to check on me, but it was actually one of the ute flaps isn't shut properly and it was blowing in the wind. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm learning about the masculine feminine balance, and I did overstep my masculine. I need to learn how to allow my masculine husband to step up into his masculinity. He needs that. He needed that. He needs to have that sense of being of use. So I've got to learn to, if that particular job takes 1 year instead of 3 days, I might get it done in 3 days or a month. He might take 2 years to do it. There does need to be stuff that is his responsibility. Like, I can't take on the full burden. I can't be the one that does everything. I've learnt this. I've learnt so much. I've learnt so much. And like, is it, I always believed it was stepping up to learn how to be that better godly wife and that feminine wife with God first. That's what I thought in the beginning since December. Like, I thought this last experience that occurred was about developing, learning the healing, the traumas, and me learning to be godly wife, and my husband learned to be godly husband coming. And I still do. I still do believe that. I still keep feeling from God. I've had God say to me, because when I took my rings off last night, I was almost going to throw them in the river today and just let it go. Just let it go. I thought, no, I can't. If I have to, I'll bury them in a plant or something, you know what I mean? But the interesting thing is, in this last couple of months, I have had some beautiful men ask if they can take me out to dinner, or and I don't know if that's God or not. I don't know if God's presenting these people to say move on. I don't know. I just don't know, and it's really hard. We talk to God, and we get, sometimes the answers come really clearly, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's hard to know what's the right thing to do. And today I went, well, I'm just going to take dogs for a walk. Oh, and I've got, what's the time? Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock today, I've got this really beautiful Christian man coming to help me seal the shower. I've got to get some cement sheeting, and we're going to actually finish off the shower. So I'm really grateful for that. So that's it. And then a healthy dinner. But the dating, this interesting, the dating scenario, like, do I go out on some dates? Do I move on? You know? Because I know God has a beautiful husband plan for me, and I, in my heart, believed that was my beautiful love, you know, who's been in my life. He's been my love for 2013, I think it's been, and unreciprocated mostly. It's been a very extremely painful love relationship. So anyways, that's my story today. Betrayal to wisdom, alchemizing betrayal to wisdom, and not self-sacrificing, you know, living in the world of self-love, self-truth, self-accountability, self-honor. And it's really tricky how to make that work in a 3D when there's a lot of people living in these quite disruptive, low density ways of being, to live a high frequency life. I am meeting so many high frequency people though, and God is clear. God is clear. Like, I did a load of I helped my son get a Verge rubbish load off his. He had a house he left in Vic Park, and there was a load of rubbish. All these people left stuff on the side of on the grass in front of not on the house, but on the verge in front of their house, and the real estate was going to charge my son for the removal. So I went and picked it up, and the ute was just full of all this stuff, and I dropped it off today. And the guy who asked me if I was open to going out on a date with him, he said, listen, I know you would never cheat on your husband, but I'd love to take you out on a date if you would like. And he was at the tip today. So is that God? And then I said to him, hey, I got your message, because we swapped numbers. I think we swapped numbers a couple of months ago because of this. I met him a few months ago, and there was this thing we were discussing, and we're an ongoing situation to be discussed, like something to do with the community. And then, he sent me that message about, and then I didn't respond. And then I saw him today, and I said, I just have to let you know, I got your message. I haven't responded. I'm really sorry. To tell the truth, I didn't know how to respond, because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. But to tell you the truth, I told him about my birthday, about how my husband didn't send me a birthday message this year, and how last year he wouldn't acknowledge my birthday. So it's really weird, because ever since we've been married, he hasn't acknowledged my birthdays. Like last year, he was like, happy birthday, from sitting on a seated position, no hug or anything. This year, nothing. And for years prior to that, always coming to my parties, buy me presents, really went out of his way to make sure I knew that my birthday was special. And all of a sudden, Since I'm his wife, nothing. So I told him that. I also said, think about the trial, how he would have been committed with perjury. He would have got a criminal offence for perjury. And I thought, you know what? Me and the magistrate and the police worked something out that works completely in my favour, and I haven't had to charge my husband with perjury. I didn't want to go down that track. But just pain of how much he's lied. And I've got so much evidence and proof. And it's like, why would you lie when we've got proof of the things you're saying? I've got proof that you're lying. Why lie like that? And then what else do you lie about? What? I wonder, he's been lying the whole time. He's never said anything nice about any of his family members. Like, does he lie about that too? Does he lie about that as well? Like, I don't know what's his truth anymore. When is he telling the truth and when he's not? Like, the only time I think he's ever telling the truth is when he's really happy. So when I see the pure joy in his face and there's pure love there and it's magical playfulness, that I know is the truth. So, yeah, I was speaking to this guy about this today and I was crying. I said, I'm really heartbroken, and you know what? I will go on a date with you. I will go on a date because I need some fun. And I said, but please, I'm heartbroken. I'm completely in love with my husband. I'm heartbroken. So I'll go on a date with you, but it's in that, and I think that was God. So there you go, everyone. So I'm not betraying myself. Like, I've got to start having some more fun. Like, I've got to, like, I'm just repeating myself now. Somehow I have to, like this surrender process that the lady who accepted that she would never be able to have children after 9 years, very painful thing to accept. And then 1 month after that, she's pregnant. Well, I said to her last night, I just feel like I've really got to the truth, the reality is that my husband is unable to love me the way I deserve to be loved. Deserve, need, require. And that loving him has always hurt me. It's always been a painful experience because I've always loved him 1,000 million trillion % with my full heart and soul. And as a result, I've let really abusive behaviours happen for year after year after year after year. Year after year after year after year after year. I've just tolerated and allowed all sorts of horrific experiences with him because I'll just be happy with crumbs. Oh, I got a crumb. Oh, yeehaw. That is so not self-loving. But then every time I try to get away and move away, I can't go off and move and do anything else because my heart pines to be with him. It's just crazy. It's crazy to love someone so much who has hurt me so much for 10 plus years or more. I don't know how long it's been, sorry, 8, 9, 10 years. It's a really crazy reality, everyone. It's so, I can't make sense of it. That's why I say to God, please help me, like help my heart heal, please, because I'm just losing my life. I've already given this man so much of my life already. I've sacrificed so much. I've surrendered to this, what I thought was you, God, will and call. So what is the journey going to? Where is it going? Like, I can't cope with this anymore. I can't cope with this ongoing dynamic that doesn't seem to have any closure or clarity, or I can't see any sense anywhere. Like, I can't even see, like, apart from the learning that I've experienced, I can't even see why God brought me to him or encouraged it, really encouraged it to happen. Like, it's just flamboggling me, flamoxing me. So, wisdom, betrayal to wisdom, alchemizing betrayal to wisdom, like, becoming wise from betrayal, self-betrayal. Everyone remember? Anything happens to us, we're doing to ourselves. If we're not receiving love from another, we're not loving ourselves. If we're feeling betrayed by another, we're betraying ourselves. If someone's lying to us, we're lying to ourselves. And we've got to look at where that is, transmute it, alchemize it, and turn it into wisdom. Okay? And it is a very excruciating process when you're heartbroken. If you're heartbroken, it's very excruciating. It's not, but you've got to do the shadow work, everyone. You can't become a child of God and truly surrender or truly go to the depths of who we really are not, unless we do the shadow work and we do the shedding and we delve into deep pain. Well, I can't, what can I do? Drink some alcohol. Oh, yeah, that might a little bit, doubt it. I couldn't not feel this pain. That's the problem. I can't, my heart is actually broken. It's broken. Like, I've got a legit physical condition of a broken heart. The counsellor and the doctor have identified that. Like, so when you have a broken heart, there's all these, it's physically painful. Like, it's physically painful. It's emotionally painful. And you can be really, really blissed out and enjoying the moment and just feeling really yeehaw, but there's always this deep pain there because the heart's actually broken. And then how to repair that heart is a process of acknowledgement, just outright acknowledgement. So, like, little heart is hurting, and that's the inner child work as well, because a part of the heartbreak is to do with the inner child unmet. Trying to think of something, sorry. I want to wrap it up and I'm going to another tangent, but yeah, I've discussed this in detail before, but if I'd grown up with really loving, kind, beautiful parents and a really amazing family network, and if I'd had a really lovely life with lots of enjoyable experiences, my heart wouldn't be as broken as it is right now. Part of the reason why my heart is so broken is because my whole life has been traumatic. My whole life has been nothing but pain. I'm 53 years old and I've had moments, beautiful, exquisite joys of, obviously every day I see joy and feel joy. But as far as an environmental, circumstantial 3D environment goes, so by explaining that like it's hard to explain. I love life, and I have a lot of joy in my life, and my life is just amazing. I'm one of these people that sees the pure joys and the pure magic in life, like, regularly all the time. But there is this very deep anguish and pain from a very abusive childhood, very abusive upbringing, very abusive teenage years, very abusive teenage relationship, where my jaw got broken and became deaf, and my firstborn was kidnapped and subjected to horrendous abuse, and And then the younger one was forced away from me and subjected to abuse from the same person. And then, you know, as a mother, not being able to protect my kids, and then I get them and protect them, and then I've got to heal them and work through their traumas. And I'm a traumatized being with all these children who've got all this deep trauma because of fucking idiots that I allowed myself to have children with, but I didn't know any. But some of those people I didn't choose. Like one of them was an RAPE situation. You know, one of my children is a product of RAPE, so. I don't know, things like my brother dying, you know, we're only 13 months apart. It's his birthday on the 19th of July, and this year he would have been 52. So, I don't know, everyone, it's problem with heartbreak is you want these, it's really hard to talk to normal people because counsellors can handle it. My counsellor wrote me the most amazing letter for my trial yesterday, but she's actually the one that really has stated very clearly that the physiological aspect of heartbreaking is actually quite debilitating in many ways. And I was just wondering, how long have I actually been heartbroken for? It's just such an interesting topic, isn't it? Like, I'm in my heart stance. I'm one of these people that lives in my heart stance most of the time. And because of that, I do feel my heart break more strongly. I don't hide things from myself. So, but living a life in pure joy of the most exquisiteness of all that life is, that I feel the full joys and I feel the full lows. That's what it is like when you're in a heart stance and you're an authentic person. Anyways, I'm going to survive this, everyone. I'm thriving, and I've just had a lot of feedback, so much feedback recently, a lot of feedback, like just so much feedback, really good, a powerful, amazing, uplifting, empowering feedback. I've got amazing team and network and community behind me, and amazingly so, this includes the Northern Police and the Northern Magistrate. Like yesterday, there was quite a few of us that hugged. Like they really care about me. They really care about me. And that's amazing. How much care and love I have. Like how many. Really beautiful. Yesterday morning, one of the police came to my house to pick me up because he knew I'd be in such deep anxiety. So beautiful. And when he turned up, I was like, you know, like shaking. And he's asking me, are you ready for today? I said, can you be ready when you got to hold someone to account for lying? Someone who you love? And they're prepared to lie? Like, really lie? Like, that's just a hard thing to accept. That someone who you love with your heart and soul, who you know loves you to their maximum capacity, would rather lie to stay small, to stay in their coven of smallness and something that they know and identify with so well that they apparently despise, rather than live and grow and move on and dream and finally live the life. I've been to, all these things, what finally want to do is I've never lived my life. I've never actually done anything in my life. I've never lived my life. About to. Yeah, bring it on. Let's move on. Yeah, yay, come on. I read this thing the other day about the power of two, and the power of two, the power of two can achieve so much. And a power couple, a godly power couple, what they can achieve is just astronomical. And that's been taken away from me. That's the heartbreak of, and how long does it take to develop a new love? Like, will I be able to love someone else ever again? You know, point in going on this date with this person? Like, it's been like this for fucking 10 years. Every time I try to create something with someone who's going to treat me respectfully and see my value and honor me for who I really am, I have to let them go because I'm going, I can't do it. I'm too in love with this other person, and this other person is now my husband, still doesn't see my value, still doesn't honor me, still doesn't cleave to me, doesn't see my value, doesn't see me really for who I really truly am. Not all the time. I know he does sometimes, but shuts it down very quickly to fit into a narrative or to... It's really weird, peoples. It's a weird life. It's a weird life I've got. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand why I would attract someone like that into my life. Like, why I would give this person so many years of my life. Why I would allow myself to be so devalued. And why I didn't feel like it was God that kept bringing him and I together or keeping us together. And when you talk about the twin flame journeys, it ties in completely. And then I go, how long do I keep believing it's a twin flame journey? I need to see some more evidence that it's moving forward, I just need some evidence from God or from somewhere. But then apparently that's not at all surrendering to God. If you need evidence, that's not surrendering to God. So I'm like, okay, fine, God, fine. So yeah, that's me on at the moment, like transmuting, alchemizing betrayal into wisdom, really focusing on the process of relinquishing self-sacrifice and focusing on self-honor. God told me the other day, simplicity. So that's it. Like it's just all a matter of day by day at the moment. I don't know for how long. I am in the process of surrender because I don't know what else to do. I'm glad I'm in a place of surrender. I'm glad to be a child of God and surrendering, but I just want to see my life move on into the amazing life it can be. And with my beloved by my side, and we're actually living our dreams and doing our creativity and creating our business, our amazing business, what we're capable of, what God wants us here for. Like, talk about impatience. I'm feeling really impatient. Hey, it's like, help me. Anyways, look at this. The car's fogging up because I've got the two dogs who are happily sleeping. They've been snoring in the back. I've got to go and get the cement sheeting, and then I've got this friend coming around, and we're going to cement sheet and waterproof the shower. And that's going to be a really big move forward. And then tomorrow I've got my op shop duty. And tonight I'll probably just watch a movie. And tomorrow's another day. And then, life just goes on and on and on. And I've survived and thrived for this long. My life has been one of the most arduous, most insane lives that someone can actually have. And I've gotten this far, and I've got another 40, 50 years to go. So where's this going to go? How's life going to move on? And YouTube channels, I urge you guys to do one if you want, because it's a good forum for... See, people only listen who want to listen. That's what I love about it. So I watch a lot of YouTube channels that inspire me to pieces. And they all say, don't know who it's going to resonate with, don't know who this is for, but putting it out there. And that's what my YouTube channel's like. Don't know who's going to resonate with, don't know who's going to be inspired by this, who's going to learn from it, who needs it. But it's out there. I've put it out there in the ether. Use what you will with it. I've shared a lot of gems that people have said to me that they believe that my wisdom and what I'm showing is actually helping them this. And I've had some really amazing feedback. So the point of the story is, if you feel like you've got something to share, please share it, because everyone's voice is really important. Everyone's journey is really important. Oh, God, that's the third time that's happened. I thought there was someone right next to my window. I'm not kidding you. I thought someone was right there about to knock on my window. It was actually almost scary. And the other time it was on that side. So that's weird, isn't it? Doesn't matter. God's with me, so God's got my back. I'm a child of God. I'm so protected. All is well. All is perfect. All right. We're going to leave it at that, everyone. God bless. God bless. And happy alchemizing any betrayals into wisdom. And really, remember, if we're feeling betrayed by someone, look, where are we betraying ourselves? Keep taking it back to ourselves. Because whatever's happening on the outer is happening on the inner. Whatever's happening on the outer is only happening because it's happening on the inner. So, okay, the reason why at the moment my life is the way it is because on the inner, there's something that's not reconciled with me being valued or me being loved. I don't like this, but obviously it's saying that on somewhere inside of me, I'm still not loving myself or valuing myself. And I'm like, God, what? But I've fully surrendered to God. Like, what else am I supposed to do to receive love and to be loved? What else am I supposed to do, God? Like, I'm tired of being hurt and betrayed by others. I'm tired of people letting me down. I'm tired of not feeling, just want to cocoon with my love. I just want to be safe with my love. I just want to, and that's unmet childhood need, you see. That's the childhood trauma in me. Like, the child was never held. The child was never loved. So there's this part of me that's clamoring, craving to be cocooned. And I have to go, but that's the child need. That's not an adult need. But is it? Is it not an adult need? How is it not an adult need to feel loved and safe and cocooned? Is that not really the truth? My battery's going, which is good because I've got to get going. Is it actually not a great way to be as an adult, to want to feel safe and cocooned and loved by those around us? Is that not an authentic way to live life? So, you know, bring on my beautiful, beautiful husband who will protect me and make me feel safe and love me and honor me and be loyal to me and, you know, respect me and have patience with my physical injuries and honor their truth with me when they say what they say, and bring on that beautiful husband, because that, I know, is what God has destined for me. I know God has destined for me this amazing life. I thought it was going to be happening now. I actually thought Northern was it, and maybe it's not. But I've been shown my peaceful, beautiful life with my beautiful husband. I've been shown that. I've been shown. I got shown that quite a while ago, and I got shown that it was my beautiful, 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 beautiful Mr. Anthony McLeod, who is actually my current husband, like the husband that God told me to marry. So it's just a perplexing puzzle. Anyways, as humans, we never, ever, ever know. We never know God's plan completely. Like, maybe God's plan for me marrying my beautiful husband is purely to teach, for him and I to learn and to grow. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's what I hate. I hate not knowing. I'm too much of an intellectual to hate not knowing. It's a real challenge for me to just go, I admit that I don't know, and I'll never know. It's God's plan, and it's God's divine journey, God's divine plan, and I'll never know God's divine plan. And I'll also never know God's divine timing. Like, you know, does my beautiful husband need a couple of years to find himself with us being committed to each other? Like, is that what it involves? And God doesn't necessarily answer all the time in clarity. Sometimes it's a real clear answer. Sometimes it's not. So you know, it's really hard. It's really, really hard sometimes knowing what direction to take or what pathway to take. Like, and I don't want to be completely so simplistic that I'm in inertia. I don't want to be like not doing anything. Like, that's why when I met that man this morning, I thought, what are the odds? What are the odds that we're both at the tip together? Okay. All right. Hey, I got your message. This is what's happening for me. Yeah, all right. Let's go on a date. Let's go on a date. And then I said, please be mindful. I'm completely heartbroken and we're just having a date as friends. But I really need to have some fun. So, yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. And he was like, yep, cool. So, and I'm going to be really honest with you. The fact I'm even at the point where I'm about to go on a date with someone just